It was a quiet afternoon when George, a man of 72 years, walked into my office. He had that familiar look, shoulders slightly hunched, eyes a little tired, and a weariness that seemed to hang heavier than just the weight of the years. He sat down across from me, took a long breath, and said something I've heard more times than I can count. "Doc, I feel like my heart isn't what it used to be." I'm not talking about a medical diagnosis, it's something deeper. "I just don't feel alive anymore." That sentence struck me because it's not the kind of thing that shows up on a chart or a scan. It's the quiet truth many older men carry but never say aloud. And so, I asked him a question no one had probably asked him in years. When was the last time you really took time for yourself? And I don't mean a walk in the park or a quiet coffee. I mean real, personal time, connecting with your own body, with no guilt and no rush. He looked at me, almost confused, then chuckled and shook his head. "I left that behind a long time ago. Document, isn't that what men my age are supposed to do?" And that's exactly the belief I'm here to challenge today. Because what George didn't know, what most men his age have never been told, is that those quiet moments of self-connection, the ones we're taught to leave behind, might just be the very thing keeping your heart strong and your spirit alive. You see, after 60, everything in the body shifts. The heart works harder, hormones change, and the physical resilience you once took for granted starts to waver. But here's the truth most doctors won't say out loud: regular, mindful self-pleasure can be one of the most natural, effective ways to support your heart health and emotional well-being. Now, before you shake your head or dismiss this idea as something trivial, let me ask you this: when was the last time you felt truly relaxed? When was the last time you experienced the kind of deep, peaceful rest that left you waking up energized instead of exhausted? When was the last time your heart felt calm, steady, and strong, not racing from anxiety or burdened by silent worries? Because every time you take the time to connect with your body in this most personal way, something remarkable happens inside you. Your brain releases a powerful cocktail of chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. These aren't just feel-good hormones. They play a critical role in reducing stress, lowering blood pressure, and calming the heart. Even more importantly, during orgasm, the body releases nitric oxide, a natural compound that relaxes blood vessels, improves circulation, and makes it easier for the heart to do its job. Think about that. In the privacy of your own space, without prescriptions or complicated routines, you have access to a natural, heart-protective mechanism built right into your biology. And it's not just the chemistry. There's a deeper emotional layer to this that too often gets ignored. When you deny yourself this form of connection, you're not just turning away from pleasure, you're turning away from a vital part of your identity. You quietly tell yourself that your needs no longer matter, that this chapter of life is meant to be lived with quiet resignation instead of vibrant joy. And over time, that belief seeps into your bones. It weakens your resolve. It makes the days feel longer, the nights lonelier, and life itself a little less colorful. But when you reclaim this space, something beautiful begins to happen. You remember that you are still here, still capable of feeling alive in your own skin. Your body may have changed, yes, but it is still yours, and it still responds when treated with kindness and care. George found his way back to that truth. It started slowly. At first, there was discomfort. Not in the physical sense, but in the mind. Years of cultural expectations and silent shame don't vanish overnight. But he made a commitment to himself, to rediscover his body, not as a stranger, but as an old friend he'd neglected for too long. He created a small routine, nothing elaborate. Just quiet moments at the end of the day when he allowed himself to feel, to breathe deeply, to let go of the day's burdens without distraction. No television blaring in the background. No thoughts racing about tomorrow. Just presence. And you know what happened? His sleep improved. His resting heart rate dropped. His blood pressure stabilized in ways it hadn't for years, even with medication. And perhaps most telling of all, his smile returned. That quiet, genuine kind of smile that comes not from forced positivity, but from the simple contentment of being at peace with yourself. This isn't a miracle. It's science meeting self-compassion. It's your body responding the way it was designed to when given what it needs. So, as you sit here with me now, listening to this, I want you to ask yourself a gentle, honest question. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to simply be? To feel, to breathe, to connect with your own body not out of habit or necessity, but out of care? Because the answer to a stronger heart, a steadier mind, and a lighter spirit might not be hidden in the next prescription or complicated lifestyle change. It might be as simple and as beautifully human as coming home to yourself, one quiet, mindful moment at a time. In the next part of this conversation, we'll explore exactly how this practice influences your cardiovascular health, how it works with the rhythms of your heart, and how you can turn this simple act into one of the most powerful tools for longevity and vitality. Stay with me, because the journey to reclaiming your strength and peace of mind is just beginning. As we pick up this conversation, I want you to imagine something simple but powerful, the quiet, steady beat of your heart. That rhythm has carried you through decades of life's joys and struggles. And yet, behind that familiar thump is a complex, beautiful system that's asking, sometimes begging, for you to care for it in ways you may never have considered. You see, your heart isn't just a machine pumping blood. It's an emotional and physical compass, directly connected to how you experience stress, joy, relaxation, and yes, even pleasure. When you neglect that connection, the burden doesn't just stay in your mind, it settles deep into your chest, creating tension, elevating your blood pressure, and making every heartbeat feel heavier than it should. This is where the hidden science of self-pleasure comes in, and it's time we talk about it openly, without shame, without discomfort, and certainly without the outdated belief that this part of life should be left behind after a certain age. When you engage in regular, mindful self-pleasure, you're doing more than satisfying a momentary desire. You're triggering a cascade of biological processes that directly support heart health in profound ways. Let's start with the most important, stress relief. Chronic stress is a silent killer. It creeps into your life disguised as restless nights, irritability, that tight feeling in your chest, or the pounding of your heart when you're just trying to relax. And over time, that stress wears down your cardiovascular system, increasing your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and other life-threatening conditions. But here's the beautiful truth, your body has a built-in mechanism to fight back against that stress. During moments of pleasure, your brain releases endorphins, dopamine, and oxytocin, powerful chemicals that naturally lower cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. When cortisol levels drop, your blood vessels relax, your heart rate slows, and your blood pressure eases into a healthier rhythm. I remember a patient named Harold, a man in his late 60s, who had struggled with high blood pressure for years. No matter how carefully he watched his diet or took his medications, his numbers refused to settle. And when we finally spoke about the deeper layers of his life, he admitted something he'd never told anyone: he had cut off that part of himself entirely after his wife passed, believing it was the respectable thing to do. But in doing so, he had unknowingly removed one of his body's most effective natural stress relief tools. With time and gentle encouragement, Harold began to rediscover himself. He allowed space for intimacy with his own body, not as a replacement for anything he had lost, but as a way to reconnect with the simple pleasures of being alive. And within weeks, something incredible happened. His blood pressure readings began to improve, not dramatically at first, but steadily. And as his body relaxed, his mind did too. He walked more confidently. His eyes regained their brightness. And that ever-present tension in his chest? It faded into the background like a distant memory. That's the power of giving your body what it quietly craves: connection, release, and the calming waves of hormonal balance that follow. But it doesn't end there. Self-pleasure also supports your heart through improved circulation. When you engage in these moments, your blood vessels expand, allowing for better oxygen flow throughout your body. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about nourishing every cell, every organ, and yes, even the heart itself with the life-giving energy of improved circulation. And let's not forget the physical engagement of your core and pelvic muscles during these moments. These small, often unnoticed contractions help strengthen the muscles that support healthy circulation, improve balance, and even enhance your body's ability to regulate blood pressure. Harold experienced all of this, not through some miracle drug or expensive therapy, but through the simple act of returning to himself with kindness and acceptance. And in the process, he uncovered something even deeper, a renewed sense of emotional resilience. You see, it's not just the body that benefits from this kind of care. It's the spirit. When you give yourself permission to experience joy, even in solitude, you remind yourself that you are still worthy of love, comfort, and peace. That belief carries over into every part of your life. Your conversations become warmer. Your posture straightens. Your days feel lighter, and the nights less restless. So I ask you now, gently, when was the last time you allowed yourself that kind of peace? When was the last time you gave yourself permission to simply feel alive, without guilt, without worry, and without thinking about what's appropriate or expected? Because the truth is, your heart needs this. Your body craves the release, the relaxation, and the natural hormonal balance that only you can give it. And when you answer that need, you don't just strengthen your heart physically, you soften it emotionally. You become more open, more at ease, more present in the moments that truly matter. In the final part of this journey, we'll explore exactly how to create a practice that supports your heart in the long term, a simple, sustainable way to bring balance, strength, and vitality back into your life. Stay with me. This next part could very well be the most important decision you make for your health and happiness in the years to come. Now that we've traveled this far together, I want to invite you into a moment of honesty, not with me, but with yourself. Sit quietly for just a moment. Feel your heartbeat, steady and present. Think about all the years that heart has carried you through. All the times it's sped up in moments of excitement, ached in moments of sorrow, and worked tirelessly even while you slept. Isn't it time you gave it something in return? Something more than medication and silent endurance. Something deeply human, healing, and profoundly simple. That's the gift you can offer yourself through mindful, regular self-pleasure, a practice that isn't just about fleeting satisfaction but about building a stronger, healthier, more resilient heart, both physically and emotionally. Let me share how Harold, the man I mentioned earlier, turned this understanding into a practice that changed his life. He started small. Not with grand expectations or rigid schedules, but with gentle curiosity. Each evening, he carved out a quiet space for himself, not just physically, but emotionally. He treated this time not as a guilty secret but as a sacred ritual. He dimmed the lights, played soft music, and approached his own body with the care he might offer a cherished friend. And as the days turned into weeks, something shifted. His relationship with himself transformed. What once felt like a lonely, mechanical act became a deeply nurturing experience. And his heart responded beautifully. His blood pressure stabilized, his pulse calmed, and more than anything, his mind found a peace it hadn't known in years. You see, Harold learned something most men overlook. The real strength of a heart isn't just in how it beats but in how it feels. A heart at ease beats longer and stronger. A heart that knows moments of joy, even quiet private ones, lasts. He no longer carried that dull ache of regret or the heavy silence of unmet needs. Instead, he carried something lighter, contentment. And this is where you come in. You've listened this far because, somewhere deep inside, you know there's more to life than just going through the motions. You're not content with merely existing, you want to feel alive again. And you can. Start by creating that space for yourself. Turn those private moments into a celebration of life, a reminder that you are still here, still worthy of touch, of care, of pleasure, and of peace. Don't rush. Don't measure your experience against some outdated standard from your youth. Honor the man you are now. Embrace every line, every scar, every reminder of the journey you've taken. And as you do, listen to how your heart responds. Feel the calm that washes over you, the tension that releases from your chest, the slow, steady rhythm of a heart finally being heard. And if you're wondering, does this really make a difference? The answer is yes, in ways both seen and unseen. Your blood pressure improves, your heart rate steadies, your body releases the tension it's held onto for far too long. And even beyond the physical, something more profound happens. You begin to see yourself differently, not as a man fading into the background, but as a man fully alive in the life he's living right now. So, my friend, I leave you with this. You have a choice. You can continue to push these quiet needs aside, convincing yourself they no longer matter. Or you can make a small, brave choice to reclaim this part of your life. To honor it. To nurture it. And through that, to strengthen not just your heart but your very sense of being. And if this message has stirred something within you, if it's reminded you that life still holds moments of joy, beauty, and connection, even within yourself, I ask you to take one simple step right now. Like this video. It's a small act, but it helps this message reach others who, like you, are quietly searching for their way back to life. And share your thoughts in the comments. Your story, your quiet victories and moments of discovery, could be the very spark someone else needs to begin their own healing journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. There's so much more to explore, so many conversations waiting that will remind you, life doesn't end at 60, or 70, or even 80. In fact, the most beautiful chapters may still be unwritten. Until we meet again, take care of your heart, be gentle with your body, and remember, your strongest, most vibrant days are not behind you. They are still within reach, waiting for you to step forward and claim them. And I hope, with everything in me, that you do.